Good evening. Hey everyone, guess what time it is? It's time for the Ruby Girl Talk. And I am Dr. K, your favorite Ruby Girl, also known as Coach K. And so you can always find me here every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with somebody that's phenomenal, with someone that's amazing, with someone that you have to connect with and that you have to listen to. I try to pick my guests based upon how my audience can benefit for them. So when I have somebody on the show, trust me, you want to tune in because they're going to add value to their night, to your life. And so Dr. Josephine, also known as Dr. Joe, Dr. Joe is fine for you tonight.
Yes, yes.
So she has come to sit and chat with us. But what we're going to talk about tonight is something that a lot of people have experienced or experiencing and trying to navigate life with. It's called anxiety. You might get anxiety when you have to do something new, when you have to stand in front of people and speak. I think that's the greatest inducer of this anxiety is public speaking. Because even though I've been doing public speaking for a long time, I still get nervous, but I just do it anyway. And I guess I have learned how to hide it so well, Dr. Joe, that people are like, oh, girl, you look so smooth. I was like, my knees were shaking. So tonight we're gonna talk about anxiety. We're gonna talk about the elephant that's in the room with you. You know, you get in there and it seems like nobody know and you don't understand why you're feeling this way. But Dr. Joe, before we get started, I want you to go on my page. I want you to find this video. Then I want you to share it so that everybody on your page can see it also. They don't have to come try and type in my complicated name and trying to find me, but they'll be able to see it also. So while you're doing that, I'm gonna tell them about Ruby Girl. So once again, my name is Dr. K, also known as your favorite Ruby Girl. I am the creator of the Ruby Girl Proverbs 31 and 10 brand and also the CEO of His Design LLC. So we rock the tribe with the right vibe, which is Ruby Girl. And Ruby Girl was created to empower women, to bring respect back to women, and also to let women know that they're virtuous, valuable, and they are rare. So Ruby Girl is about letting the average woman, no, I wouldn't say we're average, but letting every woman know that she could be just like that Proverbs 31 and 10 woman. She doesn't have to do as much as she does. She only has to do what God has called her to do. So we all have gifts, we all have talents, and we all have influence, and God has placed purpose in all of us. So connect at rubygirl.net with me. Get my ebook, and then also you can order my journal that I just put out. You can order that on rubygirl.net or get some Ruby Girl merchandise and become an official Ruby Girl. So people can spot you, they can understand who you are, and you can have a conversation and uplift a sister's life. So rubygirl.net, and every Thursday is what? Ruby Girl Day. So every Thursday, come to my page. I spotlight some women that you need to connect with. You might be looking for some business resources, somebody to coach you, somebody to mentor you, somebody to speak, go on my page on Thursday. So, all right, Dr. Joe, could you introduce yourself to the audience?
Yes, man. As you know, I am Dr. Joe. I am Dr. Josephine Harris. You may call me Dr. Joe. I am the CEO of Calming Minds LLC. I'm a mental health expert as well. I'm also the president of the Herpreneur Network with Dr. Nikki Ziegler is a visionary. Yes, that's all of me. I'm the best-selling author. I am a global speaker. And guess what I am? I'm an international psychologist. Yes, I said an international psychologist. That is all of me.
That a lot of you going on, girl. You are a game changer and a world shifter. I mean, you said international psychologist?
Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
wow. I never heard anybody introduce themselves as an international psychologist. So I am honored to once again to host you on my show. And so let's get it started. Thank you for that wonderful and powerful introduction. So everybody, before we get started, I always ask you to do this free thing. It's called share. It's so easy. You just take one finger and point it on the share button, and guess what? You get to share this video to your audience, and we can touch so many people's lives. And trust me, there's people out here that's going to need what we're talking about today. So if you're just tuning in, I'm talking to Dr. Joe, and we're talking about anxiety. We're talking about her new book called Anxiety Overcomers. There you go. It's a workbook journal, so it's very unique. But first, we want to talk about Dr. Josephine, Dr. Joe. Share with us some of the titles of the books that you have authored or co-authored.
Y'all know my book is my workbook journal. Like she said, it's Anxiety Overcome. And one of the things I also co-author with Dr. Nikki Ziegler, which is the 90 Days Affirmation book right here. Let me tell you, this is a biblical book. Let me tell you, this book has been the Amazon best-selling author in a lot of categories. This is a book with Christian women giving you information, biblical information. So if you was down, if you have anxiety, this is the book right here to get. You guys can get that. Then I have another book which is called Live My Faith Out Loud by visionary author is by Dorothy Wilson. This is another one. It comes with two, volume 1 and volume 2. So let me tell you, those are books right there will bless your heart. And I'm part of, mental health. That's my thing. That's my passion. So I have also been part of a project with Coach Ashley Bishop, which is called the Breaking the Chain Experience. This is called Breaking Through Your Mental Health Strongholds. I'm telling you, this book will help you break through all the mental health challenges that you went through. There's a bunch of women on there giving their testimony, how they broke through mental health stronghold. And I talk about how you can overcome different challenges with grief. And I'm a part of a lot of other anthologies. But that's just it right there.
That's a lot. That's a lot of writing. That's a lot of sitting in front of the computer. That's a lot of pouring out your heart because that is your passion. So what drives your passion for mental health? And have you had any personal mental health challenges yourself?
Wow, wow, wow. Let me tell you, Doctor. You won't really believe this, but it might be a surprise to many. But as a psychotherapist, I love serving people. I love serving people from all different walks of life, from all different cultures, from all different backgrounds. Because when I first began to think about mental health, it all deal with a lot of mental health, like people like me and you, brown black people like me and you, is had a stigma on it. So as I go through this journey as a military spouse, and I was really having difficult with my mental health and really have challenges, is really focusing on myself while I was supporting my husband through his military career. So I began to lose myself through that journey. So I struggle with a lot of mental health challenges. I struggle with a lot of grieving because along the way I lost a lot of family members along the way, and it was hard for me to even come back because we was doing the military. You travel a lot. You here you 1 minute, you here the next minute. You 3 years here, you 3 years there, and we stayed and we've been overseas a lot. So dealing with mental health and struggling with mental health and understanding myself as a self identity, that was really led me to have that passion for mental health and understand what mental health means and why it's so important for us to seek help that we need, for us to seek the support that we need, for us to really find the resources and tools that we need so that we can help ourselves and advocate for our children and advocate for others around us.
Hmm. That's a lot. That's a lot. You're right. It seems when it comes to mental health, we don't understand how to fix it. We just think if we can think ourselves out of it. If it was that easy, then there wouldn't be psychotherapists, it wouldn't be psychologists, it wouldn't be anybody in the mental health field. We just wake up and say, "My mind is fine," but our minds need healing just like our bodies need healing. And we talked just briefly about how the pandemic has seemed to accelerate it, or
Mm-hmm.
else, how can I say, illuminate mental health. We see so many people with mental health issues, people going off, no patience, just seem like everybody is so angry, and it seemed like the boundaries, there's no more boundaries. People say and do whatever they want to do. The recklessness, like I see
Mm-hmm.
people running up in the stores now, basically looting while the stores are open. And we didn't see that like that before the pandemic. And now they cross boundaries, because I was looking at Hollywood where they were saying that the thieves was actually just coming while the rich people was out shopping and taking their cars, and they'd never done that before. It's kind of like a boundary you're like, okay, you don't go there because of the police, but
Yeah.
now people don't care. And so I agree with you. Mental health is very important. I think we take care of our physical health, but we honestly don't know how to take care of our mental health.
And sometimes it's very hard for people to really seek the professional help that they need. And it's not because they don't want to, it's because they don't know how to.
Mhm,
It's like when you have, they like, oh my goodness, one therapy fit. Oh no, that's not the case, because it's like you shop around for shoes.
mhm,
So if that therapy doesn't match your critiques, match your needs, or the needs that you need to be met, you need to shop around for another therapist. Sometimes the therapist don't fit the person, and the person don't fit the therapist. So it's like when you go to the doctor and you don't like that doctor, and that doctor not meeting your needs, you want to go to another doctor. So it's like if that therapist not meeting your needs or the needs that being to desire, you go to another therapist. And sometimes people don't understand that sometimes as therapists we have specializations.
mhm,
Sometimes some therapists might specialize in anxiety, some therapists might specialize in depression, some therapists might specialize in ADHD. So all therapists have specializations in their field.
mhm. So speaking of ADHD, a lot of people have it but don't know they have it, and I probably have worked with some people that now that I know a little bit about ADHD, I could see that they had that. Some of them couldn't be still, they couldn't focus, and we'd be like, what is wrong with them? Not knowing that they had ADHD. Could you elaborate a little bit about ADHD? Because we think it's in children. How does it show up in adults?
Sometimes in adults is ADHD, which is attention deficit hyperactive disorder, and sometimes that can be in conjunction with anxiety. So sometimes in adults, we tend to forget things. We tend to procrastinate. We tend to have an attitude. We tend to have be angry more than other people. We tend to, sometimes they call it lazy workers, but it's really not lazy workers. It's just the fact that certain tasks we have to do at certain times. Like certain times, you can have a whole lot of things going around on us. Because guess what? We lose distraction. So certain tasks, we have to break the task up into smaller pieces, because if we don't, we will jump from one task to the next task to the next task and not completing that task. And that's why they call people, certain people, they say they lazy, but they're not lazy. It's just the fact that they have a hard time, difficult focus and concentrate.
Mm. So is it possible that you don't have it as a child, but you can develop it as you become an adult?
It can be possible, but sometimes it can be possible as a child. Maybe you don't want to recognize it. Maybe you can deny it for it, because you can have it growing up. Sometimes you can have it as an adult and don't have it as a child. Sometimes you get the symptoms as a child, but as an adult, you ignore the symptoms.
Okay. That's good advice. That's good advice. Sometimes I'm like, am I ADHD some days? Because you feel like it, you like, especially when you creative. Now, when you creative, your mind is like always racing with ideas. And so
Mm-hmm.
they call it's called the hair. I think it's called the hair. Well, anyway, it's a rabbit, turtle, and it's about personality. So I'm like a hare. I'm all over the place. I generate ideas like this, like what about this, what about that. I come up with processes at work and everything, but a lot of times I don't execute them. So one of the personalities is squirrels. That's somebody you give the idea to and they execute it. I'm just
Execute.
all over the place with my ideas, and I'll start doing something, then I'll be like, I won't do it no more. I won't absolutely touch it. I'll do it for years, and then I can no longer touch it anymore. And so that's kind of weird because I'm like, how do I be so 100% and then 0%?
And I am like that.
Are
But
you?
how I do my thing, I tackle one task at a time.
Okay.
So I give myself an opportunity to be great. And what I mean by that, I tackle one task at a time. Say, for instance, I want to write a book. And I've been sitting on a book for like 3 or 4 years, but I have not got out. One thing about me is that in order for you to progress and be productive in life, you have to have coaches. Therapists have to have therapists, coaches have to have coaches. And with me, and I know I talked about it a lot, that I have ADHD. I have an ADHD coach.
Oh.
So I have that specific coach that helps me to manage my symptoms, that I can process a lot of things as a therapist. And me, I have a therapist as well. So if a therapist or a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a psychologist don't have that, you need to find another therapist, you need to find another psychologist, you need to find another psychiatrist.
Hmm. Okay. All right. Thank you. You giving us so much good information. You spilling the tea. Thank you for spilling the tea, because we, like I said, we don't know about mental health. It's like we think till you get to the point that you have an episode, that's when
Mm-hmm.
you need a therapist. And you're right, brown and colored people, brown, black people, people with color, red, orange, green, yellow. But we, especially our culture, it's always been taught that it's nothing wrong with you. Go pray about it. Go to your pastor.
Yeah.
And so then you struggling in your mind. You have voices in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
You're feeling a certain type of way, and you
Yeah.
show up, you look in the mirror and be like, okay, I'm fine. You walk out in the street, and then you like your self-esteem issues come, and you feel like every day it's a fight. Every day
Mm-hmm.
you fight to get your self-esteem, a fight to get yourself together. And then by the time you get home, you scattered to pieces. But like me, I started talking to a therapist was it last year? No, in 2020, it might have been last year. I started talking to a therapist. And I always had this stigma like I'll just figure this out. But talking to her, she helped to rewire my thinking,
Mm-hmm.
teach me coping skills, things that I didn't know I have, and just had a conversation where I can just be real, because I can't reveal my ugly side to my friends. I just can't. They might be like, you can talk to me about everything, and I'm like, I'm not going to. Because it's certain things you don't want people that love you don't want them to know, because let's be real, we're humans, we'll judge somebody, especially if we see somebody as this person and then they tell us something really ugly about themselves, and then we'll start to look different at them or start to look for those traits in them. And so a therapist is a psychologist or a psychotherapist. Whoa, these words. They're safe people that you can go to and you can get that thing off your heart. Am I right, Dr. Joe?
You are totally right. We want to discuss things with our family member. One of the things I always tell my clients, if you want to discuss it with your family member, is the way to do it. Because be honest, like you say, we are so much judgmental people.
Mhm.
We are very so much judgmental people. So a way to discuss your mental illness with your family member is, first you're going to educate them. The best thing, you don't have to tell them what you have. You don't have to tell them this. You're going to educate them on, do you understand what mental health is? Do you understand what mental illness is? So mental health is well-being. Mental illness is a disorder.
Mm.
So there's a difference.
Say that, repeat that again for the people in the back.
Mental health is a mental well-being. Mental illness is a disorder.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay.
Because we at some point we all have mental health issues. We all go through mental health crisis. We all go through mental health challenges. If you say, for instance, you a dog bites you, you a wild dog and you have anxiety. You're scared to go around a dog. You're scared to touch a dog. You're scared to do this because a dog bit you before. So now you created anxiety. So each time you go around a dog, you tense up and you don't want a dog. And now, growing up, you might don't want a dog or you might don't like a dog because
That's
a
true.
dog bit you in the past.
That's true. That's true. I hear people say all the time, I don't like cats. When I was younger, this happened. I don't like dogs. When I was younger, this happened. Yeah. And when something traumatic happens, anxiety can attach to it,
Mm-hmm.
because I started having anxiety driving. And it's the weirdest thing, Dr. Joe. I hadn't at that time, I hadn't had an accident or anything. I started to be scared of going around curves a certain way, to the point that I couldn't figure out how to go around them on the freeway. And
Mm-hmm.
it was the weirdest thing. And I knew it was mental, because then I started being having anxiety, like if you're driving, it's got to drop off, like down south, how they drop off those deep ditches and stuff. When I went to Mississippi in July, I had to keep pulling over, keep pulling over, keep pulling over because they're just like soon as you turn, there's a drop off. Soon as you turn, there's a drop off. But
Yeah.
thank God it was I left early because I knew I might have to do this. So I left early for Memphis, but I was determined I was gonna drive all the
Mm-hmm.
way to was it Tennessee from Mississippi. And I did it. Now was it anxiety going on in that car? Girl, yes. But you know what? I felt the anxiety and then I was like, keep going, keep pushing. And you know what? Anxiety will take over
Yes,
that
it will.
it will almost make me like scream and just let the wheel go. And
Mm-hmm.
I would be like, you cannot do that. And I would have to just talk myself. And you know, and I heard people say anxiety and I've seen people fear heights. And I'd be like, they can just get over it. You know, now I understand that's a mental thing. It will literally take over and make you hurt yourself if you're not careful. And so,
Mm-hmm.
but I just kept pushing through it. And I know I had to keep exposing myself, exposing myself.
Exposing.
Yes, because if not, that thing was going to take over to the fact that, okay, now you're scared of curves. Now you're scared of drop offs. Now you're scared of
Yeah.
rain. And it would just escalate.
It,
Fear escalates and it grows.
yes, it does. Yes, it does. Because I have anxiety. And I remember when I was coming up, I used to be in a lot of car accidents.
Mhm.
But it wasn't me driving, it was other people driving. So when as I got older, I would never let nobody drive with me.
Oh, wow.
So I was afraid to let people drive me. And when I get in the car, like I drive. Like this is my car, but I have to drive.
Wow.
So now I had overcame that because my husband will tell you I couldn't let nobody drive, not my kids, not anybody. Had to drive my car, but I had to really in tune with me. Like, you know what? Everybody's not like that. I have to overcome this. I have to push. I had to do a lot of deep breathing, a lot of exercise, a lot of patience with me. And now my husband drives me a lot. But I used to be scared to let my kids drive me around because so many times when I was coming up as a teenager, as a young adult, I got in so many accidents and it wasn't, and other people was driving. So I used to be scared for people to drive. So I used to always drive.
Wow. Isn't that somehow our minds process things? You know,
Yes,
something can happen to us one time, and that one time, that's how we process every
every single
situation
thing.
every single thing. Wow. So it's time for us a break. So what's going to happen, y'all, during the break? Dr. Joe is going to give us 1 minute talk. She's going to talk about a business. She can talk about whatever she want to talk, but she has 60 seconds. So while she do that, I'm going to look on social media, see if y'all have any questions, talk about the comments that y'all have. So, Dr. Joe, are you ready to take over the mic and give us 60 seconds?
Yes, I am.
All right,
I
go
am totally
ahead.
ready.
Go ahead.
All right, everyone. How is everyone doing? Let me tell you a little bit about my business. I am Common Minds. I'm the CEO of Common Minds. My business dealing with a lot of coaching, a lot of therapy, a lot of mental health consulting. So I deal with the body, mind, and soul, where I help you to overcome challenges, to overcome the things that you need so to live a healthy, better life. Guess what? And I write a lot too. I also have a blog called Healthy Minds and Hearts where I really talk about, I dig really deep into mental health about what my journey is about and how I went through mental health and how I overcame it as a military spouse. I give you some techniques on how to deal with mental health as a military spouse as well. I give you some techniques on how to deal with your self identity so that you can be a flourish and a more beautiful person that you can be as well. And guess what? I am a part of the Herpreneur Network International. Yes, where Dr. Nikki Ziegler is the visionary. I am the president. Let me tell you, that network is for a Christian women in business. Come on, join us, and y'all will not be disappointed. Yes, join that network because I'm the president and Dr. Nikki is the founder. Yes, we have some very really things that's going on. We're going to do a cruise. We're going to do Houston, and I'm going to be on the face of it. Yes, Dr. Nikki and some of my teams, and Dr. Nikki as the founder, she's a wonderful person, and the rest of my team as well. So y'all just come on in to the Herpreneur Network. Let me tell you, you would not be disappointed.
Right. Did you give your website and everything, contact information?
Yes, ma'am. Y'all can contact me on all social media at Dr. Josephine Harris or Dr. Joe Harris. My website is www.commonmindsllc. My blog is healthymindsadheart.com. I also have my speaking website is www.josephineharris.com. Let me tell you, I'm all on social media. I'm here.
Nah, she's showing up for y'all on all social media. Thank you, Dr. Joe. Thank you so much. So, speaking of Dr. Nikki, guess who's watching? She said, "Go, Josephine L. Harris. So proud of you, my president." Dr. Nikki actually was interviewed on my show last year, and she is such a sweetheart. And you know what I like about her? She is so giving, and she don't have ownership of what she have. Like, this is my, like she was telling me on Clubhouse how many rooms she have and how she let people just kind of run those rooms. So she
Mm-hmm.
is so free in how she let people flow. And I love the fact that it's like, if God gave me that idea, he'll give me another one. You know, we guard what God gives us. So
Yeah.
you know, like like God can't give us anything else. We don't want anybody to take it. Just let them take it. Share, you know, because think about it, if it's from God, they're promoting God. It's kind I was about to start preaching. Okay. Mr. Keith Harris, I wonder who that could be. He said, "Do your thing, my Carmel Queen. Love you." Girl, that
That's
better
my
be your
chocolate king.
husband. That better be your husband.
Yes, ma'am. That's my chocolate king.
Hi, Mr. Husband. Then we have Smiley Jones. Say, "Congratulations, Mom."
That's my daughter.
Oh, hi, daughter. And then we have Renee Bernard. She said, "So true." We said something that hit her, that resonated. She said, "This is so true." And so we have a few more people out there watching. Thank you for watching. Make sure you share. Hit that button right now. Share, share, share. Let somebody else get in on this talk, because now we go to the second part of the show. So we're going to talk more about her workbook journal called Anxiety Overcomers, and we definitely want to hear more about it. But Josephine, how does your approach in the Anxiety Overcomers Workbook Journal different from other resources available for managing anxiety? What is it that's unique about your workbook journal that's going to make people say, "I need this," versus any other book out there?
Well, let me tell you, first of all, Anxiety Overcomers is the best workbook you're going to get because it encourages you to write a scripture, a quote, anything that encourages your inner self. So it helps you to, it start off with I am affirmation. I am brave. I am intelligent. I am wonderful. I am wonderfully made. I am beautiful. So it starts off with that, as well as it start off with it gives you techniques on how to breathe. It gives you technique on, it got a 30-day affirmation in there. It got a 30-day tracker where you can track your sleeping, where you can track your eating habit. And it also gives you 30 days where you can track your time with the wonderful, the most high God. So let me tell you, it's going to have that. That is totally different. It also inspire and encourage you from different quotes of my favorite authors that's in there. They give you, and I'm gonna read you one. I'm just gonna read it, but let me tell you, this is my favorite one. It said, "I just give myself permission to suck, to suck. I found this largely liberating." So you're giving yourself permission to not be okay, and it's okay to not be okay. So it's going to help you to promote the wellness in you. It's going to help you to write a letter to your better self.
Oh, wow. That does sound unique, because it's like therapy in a book.
Yes, man. It's like therapy in the book. It goes into your yearly goals. It goes into the self-care checklist. It even goes into your daily eating habits.
Oh, all in my business. Wow.
Yes.
But you know what? All those things have to be addressed. And sometimes we don't want to address them because we don't have the discipline. So that workbook journal makes us face ourselves. It makes
Yes.
us, okay, what are you doing with your time? Are you eating right? You know, it's kind of like it puts a mirror to our face, and we have to face ourselves. We have to face our bad habits. That sounds really well. So how can we get this journal?
Let me tell you, you can go right onto my page at www.josephineharris.com. Let me tell you, that journey is going to really bless you. And guess what? If you can't use it, give it to someone who could.
I always say that if you can't use something, but you know somebody else need it, get it for them. Now, can you share? I know you just told us just a little bit, but can you share three key strategies from your workbook journal that people can use to cope with anxiety in their daily lives? Because I know there's people out there, they just want to get a few tools, just something, just one or two tools that they can use to help them right now.
One of the tools that I love the best is relax breathing. That is my, when you sit in the chair, you relax, you take deep breaths in and out, and you think about, while you relaxing, you think about something really happy place. Like for me, I think about the beach. So I love walking. I don't like the water, but I love the beach. So I love walking on the beach, looking at the sunset and looking at everybody swim. That's my thing. I like that. So that's my happy place. So you're going to sit and relax, and you're going to take deep breaths in and deep breaths out while relaxing in a chair, sitting straight up, or you can lay down. So that's one of the techniques you can use. You can use relaxed breathing. Another one that I like is tension check-in. And when I mean tension check-in, you want to write what big event that happened to you this week. What is the big event that happened to you this week? You're going to release that tension. And I got a diagram on a full body person, and you put the different dots in the area that you felt that you experienced that pain. And when you put the dots in a different area of your body that I got, it's in the diagram that I got in the book, different areas of that body. And then you're going to ask your question. You're going to ask yourself two questions. Do you have stress mentally? If so, you're going to write about it. The next question you're going to ask, do you have stress physically? If so, you're going to write about it. So that helps you to relieve that tension before you go into the next day. So
Interesting.
that is my favorite. Another one that I like is daily self-love. Who does not love themselves? Let me tell you, daily self-love is like journaling. So you're going to journal how great your day was, and you're going to practice it more internal inquiry, like, well, you want to identify and introduce yourself, self-direction, because they give you self-direction and kindness to yourself. You're going to be compassionate about your life. With me, journaling is one of my most important things I like, because I have several journals. I have a gratitude journal. I have a self-love journal. I have a self-care journal. And guess what I have? I have an affirmation journal, a biblical affirmation journal. So I love affirmation. So I call it the wall of affirmation. So every morning I get up and write an affirmation on my wall. And every morning, at the end of my day, I write an affirmation at the end of my day as well.
I'm hearing a lot about mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And I think part of the way you get to your mind is writing, not so much as typing, because we sit in front of computers every day, but
Every day.
writing is something about writing. Because I mean, even the Bible tells us to write the vision, and Jesus wrote the 10 commandments
Mm-hmm.
and gave them to Moses. He could have just presented him with, boom, that's it, bam, on the tablet.
Yep.
But it's something about writing, journaling, writing things out, getting things out of you. I think it comes from your heart down your arm into your hand, and it helps people out so much. And people take it lightly. They just like, oh, it's just writing something down. But you just don't know how simple God has given us tools for our
Mm-hmm.
healing. We always make things more complicated than what they really are. And God makes things so simple, so black and white, so one, two, three, and we're doing 100, 200, and 300. And
Yeah.
so you're right. We need to write out, okay, where did I have anxiety at? So you kind of like examining yourself and
Mm-hmm.
learning yourself, because sometimes you don't know yourself. That's why it's always good like my mentor Sean Fair, he was talking about tonight, he was talking about blind spots that you have in your life. And I think journaling helps God speak to you about some of those blind spots that you have. And your journal addresses some of them blind spots. But sometimes these spots are not blind to us. We know we need to eat right. We know we need to sleep better, but we
Mm-hmm.
just kind of blinded ourselves like I've been functioning this long. So I get it. You make us look in the mirror and see ourselves.
Yes, ma'am. And guess what? I got a sleep tracker in there as well. So you can sleep up with how much time you sleep, what do you do to sleep, and what can you do if you don't sleep.
Oh, Okay.
But I'm not going to spill all the details. You have to really get this book to understand what's going on.
Right. All right. Well, hey y'all have to go to her website to get the workbook. And this workbook is sounds like it's really life changing because now you have to sit down. Now you have to face the elephant in the room. Before we just be busy, 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 but now you got to focus on self-love. You got to focus on those breathing exercises. My therapist
Mhm.
told me those breathing exercises because I think it redirects your mind off what you're facing. Now you're thinking about breathing versus thinking about the issue. Because I've heard about tap therapy where they say tap certain parts of your body if you're dealing with fear or something like that. And I think it's just like a diversion. Like when I was going through the anxiety, I actually don't laugh at me. I was coming down the hills. I flapped my arms. I was like, I'm flying. And it made the anxiety go away. It
Mhm.
gave me just a reassurance. So whatever you got to do it, y'all. Okay. So here's our final question. I can't believe we moving so fast, Dr. Joe.
I can't believe it, Nita,
I
but
should have
guess
gave you 10 questions.
this is a lot of nuggets that I'm dropping. I'm telling you, you guys want to go out and share this, share it with somebody who need it. I'm telling you, hit that button and share, share, share.
Share, share, share. Like share because you care. Okay. So what advice do you have for individuals who may be hesitant to start using your workbook journal to address their anxiety?
One of the things first I'm gonna address this. Although I'm a mental health professional, you have to keep in mind that these are very educational techniques and very awareness. So therefore, it's very important if you have certain anxiety, if you have certain mental health issue, is to consult with your mental health provider that's going to meet your need or seek other professional guidance. So the one thing that I see in all is people try and take huge steps. You got to really start small. And when I say you got to really start small, you got to begin with simple prompts, exercises. You got to don't feel like you have to pressure into diving deep into your emotions and trying to filter out all these emotions all in one. You got to really start small. And then you have to really gradually ease into it because sometimes we don't realize if we jump into things, it causes more anxiety. So you have to really ease into it. Another one is choose the workbook that works for you. Choose a workbook that gears to your needs and gears to your preference because all workbooks don't gear to anxiety. Some of them just gear to well-being. Some of them might be geared to depression. Some of them might be geared to life in general, going through stress and stuff like that. So you have to really focus on the workbook that works for you and what's your preference. Because different folks for different strokes. Y'all heard of that? You got to be, everything is not for you. So it can be because our anxiety, we don't have the same symptoms as anxiety. Each person is different and unique. We all don't, we're not born alike, we not look alike, we are made totally different. So our symptoms is totally different. One thing works for you might don't works for me. Like I teach my clients, she don't like the journal. But when I introduce her to video journaling, she like being on social media, so she video journal herself. So is she video journal and save it in her phone. So when I mean video journal, you talk about your day and on a video while you're looking at yourself. So that's video journal.
Oh, got it. Video journaling. Okay, got it, got it. Yeah, didn't even think about that. It's so many different ways to journal. It's just get it up out of you, basically. Just
Yes.
release it, just loose. Come out now in the name of Jesus. Deliverance. That's basically
Yeah.
what it is. It's deliverance. And deliverance is healing for the soul. All right, we had a great chat. Thank you for coming on, being transparent, not trying to hold anything back, but I can hear the sincerity in your heart that you genuinely love to see people heal. And I love your name of your business, Common Mind LLC. You know, just the name of it, people are looking for a peace of mind, which is really a calm mind, because the world just throws so much at us and social media does not help. So, that kind of sometimes make us a little crazy, some of the things that we see on social media. And sometimes people can just be living a good life and it can make us crazy because we like, why
Hmm.
my life not like that? So we just got to stay in our lane, trust God all the way. And just if you're dealing with mental illness, please get the help. Because if you don't get the help, sometimes you can hurt somebody or you can hurt yourself. Because I read so many stories just this week about people committed suicide. And it's been prevalent. It seemed like it's been prevalent since the pandemic. And I get it, life gets heavy for you, but just hold on. Things do shift. And I know sometimes it could be a chemical
Hmm.
imbalance and a lot of other different factors. But please get the help. Your life is so valuable. And suicide leaves a different type of pain because people always like they could still be here. They always feel like the death was unwarranted, that it didn't need to happen. And so you always feel like, did I miss it? Could I said something? So it leaves a different hurt behind. So
it, it it does leave a really different perspective, especially in with suicide rates is going up. So if you feel it, because sometimes we'll think like family members will think like, oh, I should have seen that sign, or I should have seen that. But you sometimes even as parents, as grandparents, uncles, aunties, when people cry for help, you have to really pay attention because they're really actually crying for help.
yeah.
You see the sign, if the signs are there, but you really don't want to see the signs because no, you would say, well, no, they just acting up. They just acting up because they don't want to do something. But the signs are really there. So you really have to pay attention to their behaviors. You have to really pay attention to if they being angry, if they being rebellious, if they giving away the things that's most valuable to them. If they talking about I wish I wasn't here, if they talking about what if I was gone,
Mhm.
and they talk about if I want to disappear. You have to pay attention to those signs.
Yes,
And
you're
if they're
right.
talking, if they're reading a lot about suicide, if they researching suicide.
Mm. There's a lot of
So
things you can see that people do crowd for help. It's just sometimes we might dismiss it or not
mhm,
really take it serious. Like, oh, they don't look like a person that'll take their life. They smiling every day.
yep,
They going to work. They got a good life. Even
yep,
rich people take their lives. Even beautiful people take their
yes,
lives. Yeah. So it's no, how can I put it? There's no guidelines where this person just won't do it. Everybody is susceptible, I guess that's what you say, to it. Anybody can actually get into a life situation and it becomes so overwhelming that you feel like you can't handle it. So, Dr.
mhm,
Joe, I'm going to let you give us a 2-minute closeout. But while we do that, let me find your beautiful website so everybody can be looking at your website while you talk. And it is beautiful, it's vibrant, it's full of color,
yes.
and I love it. All right, go ahead. You have two
let me
minutes.
let me tell you on that. I want to leave you guys with this: is think positively, learn actively, play more, be yourself, smile always. Guess what? Love passionately, live freely, work hard. Guess what? Shine bright. Dream big, relax off it, and the most important thing you're going to do is enjoy yourself. And y'all can reach me up all social media. Yes, let me tell you, one of the biggest things is that you got to have faith in yourself to overcome these challenges that you go through. Faith, it does not come easy. It doesn't make things easy, but guess what it makes you do? It makes things very, very possible.
Girl, was that 2 minutes?
That is all my website. It is so beautiful. Yes.
Make sure you what's your website information in your social media?
And my website information is www.commonmindsllc.com, or you can go on my page right here is www.josephineharris.com. I also have a blog called Healthy Minds and Hearts as well. So, and I'm also on the Herpreneur International network. So you can also reach me through there, through that group as well. I'm all on social media as Dr. Josephine Harris, as Dr. Josephine Jones. I'm also Dr. Josephine Harris. I'm also on LinkedIn as Dr. Josephine Harris as well. So you can reach, I'm all over social media. Just go ahead and reach out to me, grab some of those books. Let me tell you, them books I was going to bless your soul, especially that journal.
Yes, these are beautiful pictures. Beautiful pictures. I love your website. It's very vibrant and very common too. Very common. I know pink and green is your favorite colors, and I see them all on your website, girl. I love your branding. I love your pictures. All right. Well, I guess I have to say a little something before we leave. I was
Yes,
just gonna let you
ma'am.
finish it out and everything. So tonight, I just want to thank Dr. Joe for coming and sharing with us things that we really need to hear about our mental health. We need to consider our mental health and start right now to get healthy about it, to take the time. Like we take the time every morning, we know we need to take a bath. We know we need to put our clothes on.
Mhm.
But what about dressing your mind or addressing the things in your mind that need to be addressed? The things that are making you depressed, that's making you anxious, that's causing you anxiety. Even some people that you have to push out of your life just because they're family does not mean you have to be bothered with them. Their blood true enough, but the blood will also weigh you down. And sometimes you have to separate from them in order to get your mind together. Your mental health is very important. And if you're out there feeling like that it's just too much for you, that life is so overwhelming that it's never going to get better. Let me tell you, the devil is a liar. He's lying to you. He wants to steal your plans and your purpose and everything that God has for you, the people you should influence. He want to take you up out of here so those people will always miss their opportunity to get what you had for them. So listen, talk to somebody. If that person won't listen, talk to somebody else. And I get it. I reach out to people because I've been in a depressive state and I try to talk to people. And you know what they tell me? Oh, just pray. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with your mind. When I knew there was something wrong with my mind. So I took it to God and I found somebody that I could talk to that understood, that wasn't giving me just scriptures, that wasn't telling me just to pray and that I was all right. I knew something was going on with my mind and I knew it was a lot of things overloading me. I just knew that person couldn't help me. So don't give up. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on life because we won't give up on you. So if you need someone to talk to, I'm quite sure Dr. Joe would love to have a conversation with you. She's
Yes,
already poured out a lot tonight and gave us a lot of tools that we can work with to help us with our anxiety, to breathe. Definitely to breathe, to get her workbook, to journal it out, and so also to just get a therapist if you need one. It's okay, y'all. It's all right. All right, Dr. Jones. Thank you. Tell them once again how they can reach out to you, how they can find you.
yes, ma'am. Y'all can find me on all social media, Dr. Joe Harris. My website is www.commonmindsllc.com and www.josephineharris.com. Y'all can reach out to your girl, your mental health expert.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Joe. And thank
Thank
you,
you.
everybody that's out there on Facebook. Tune in next Tuesday. So, January, I'm spotlighting people that have books. So, tune in next Tuesday. I hope I didn't say Thursday. Next Tuesday for another exciting, powerful episode of the Ruby Girl Talk. So, y'all have a great and wonderful night. And remember, share this video if you have not. Good night.
Good night.